Good afternoon, wonderful viewers, and welcome to the Hour Show with me, Trisha, and my colleague here, lawyer Andy. Today we have in our studios a doctor with us. His name is Dr. Senna. He's a biomedical scientist. He's from Accra, Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pleasure to have you with us today, Doc.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Senna has been working in Ghana for 27 years.
Privately for 21 years.
Okay. Mm-hmm. He has his own laboratory called the G2 Lab, which he's been running for the past 21 years. Mm-hmm. He's also had a bit of studies in the US. Mm-hmm. And today we'll be interviewing him to talk about some of the issues that affect us as Ghanaians, some of the issues that affect our country, Africa as a whole, and even in the UK. So once again, welcome, Doc.
Thank you.
Welcome, Doc.
And thank you, Andy.
Okay. Doc, your title is a biomedical scientist. Can you explain to us what that is?
Yes, for a biomedical scientist, you are supposed to do an investigation in the medical laboratory and diagnose a patient's disease or ailment so that at least you can give your results to the doctor for treatment of that particular patient.
How do you get your equipment? Do you have enough facilities?
If I say back home in Ghana, we have really improved when it comes to the laboratory system. We have the public health and we have the private, health. Okay. Equipment-wise, we are very good. We have enough equipment. Unlike those days, we didn't have the analyzers and the rest. Okay. Of late, we have the analyzers. Basically, for now, the laboratory system, it's not bad. We are doing very well when it comes to the laboratory system,
When you talk about laboratories, I mean, a lot, and you would admit, a lot of nationals of Ghana, mm-hmm. And Africa in general, might not even understand what this is, isn't it? Because all they know are doctors they see in hospitals and not really a laboratory. And because you guys are probably behind
the scene.
Yeah. And actually diagnose some of these. What sort of challenges do you face as a doctor in your profession? What sort of challenges do you face with the doctors and patients alike?
Okay, you rightly said it. We are behind the scene. We are just like the unsung heroes. We are behind. You see, the way the hospital system is, because the doctor is the arrowhead, you feed the doctor with all information to manage the patient because he manages the patient at the final stage. So what you do the inputs. Now, some of the problems we face is from two ends. At times, we need adequate information from the doctor about the patient for you to handle.
You mean when there is a referral to you?
When there's a referral to us. For instance, if you give me a request, you cannot just write the request and give it to me for me to run. At least give me a little bit of brief clinical history about the individual or the patient. And that was going to give me more information so that when I'm doing my investigation and whatever you are looking for, we are not getting it for you. Per your clinical history, that will also help us to dive into area to bring us something that will be of benefit to you as a doctor. If you give me a blank form, your name, date, test, and for me to run, I'll strictly go according to that. And at times it's not helpful because at the end of the day, we are managing the patient. You understand? Okay. The two of us are supposed to manage the patient so the patient can get whatever he or she wants. So that is some of the challenges that we face.
Well, you mentioned practices, code of practices. Do you actually, because obviously most of these, you are actually addressing issues that you face in regards to patients alike as well as doctors. Do you have a standard code of conduct as medical practitioners in Ghana?
Yes, we have a standard code of conduct. Every profession has a standard code of conduct. It is the implementation. How strict are you in implementing it? Mm-hmm. You see, at times, will I say, everyday work and at a point where you tend to forget about certain things, you tend to compromise certain aspect of the code of conduct, which become dangerous. But if you are really mindful that you are in a profession to really save life, then you should adhere strictly to this code of conduct. Because you see, we are dealing about human being here. Your least mistake can cause the death of somebody. So yes, we have it. depends on the individual institutions.
Do you accept the fact that, no, I'm not just talking about doctors, but as far as coming to carers and nurses, professionals, do they understand this code of conduct?
Yeah, we understand the code of conduct, but it depends on the institution and depends on the individual that is using it. You see, we have to have the monitoring system. Okay,
that's something I was going to come up to.
Everyday monitoring system. Who is your supervisor? For instance, if you come to my end, I have the laboratory director, I have the laboratory manager, I have the department supervisors. They are supposed to ensure that everything is followed, because if you do daily monitoring, you will know that things are being followed very well. But if you don't really follow it, then you think, oh, everything is well with me, so let me leave it for it to go. That is when the mistakes comes in.
And when the mistakes comes in, what happens? Are there any policies around you making a mistake?
Yeah, internal policies to sanction you should be there. Then external one also supposed to be there.
And are these effective?
But where do we see it? That's the question. Where do we see it? For instance, if I give you a wrong report and you treat your patient and something happened, how do they know I gave you a wrong report? You understand? When a doctor also gives you a wrong medication, how do somebody know that he gave you a wrong medication?
Yeah.
This is where. So we need, when some of these things happen, we need an independent body to really investigate it.
We get there to the independent body, but addressing record keeping.
Yeah.
How do you guys, at the moment, I mean, it's probably one of the, you keep saying it's a growing system. What sort of record keeping system do you have in place at the moment?
At the moment, we have, some do, some don't. I will speak for myself because I have the quality management system that I've put in place, that I keep all my records according to the ISO that we are running, which really is supposed to be. So we go through all this process, and again we have occurrences that also happen, which we record all those things. What occurred, I need to record it. What went wrong, I need to record it. So we record all these things so that it will help.
Is it electronically or manually?
No, we have the electronic one, we have the manual one.
Okay.
For my system, I have the electronic one, which I have a whole, management system where I can do everything analytically. And again, do the manual recording, because anything can happen to my hard drive. So when you come in, I have a book for my manual recording. I have a system also for my electronic recording. So that really helped me a lot, because when something goes wrong, I can fall on my manual just to get my records out. So
and apart from the private institution, when you come to the government sector, do they have a system in place, talking about electronics and hard copies?
Yes.
Do they have a system where the hospitals are able to share those information?
No, I don't think we've got there yet. Let's say if we have hospital A, they are managing their systems. Hospital B is also managing its own system. But where we share information, I don't think we've got there yet. The only information we may share is maybe when there's going to be a referral. There may be information is derived from the primary document for the referral for the other doctor to handle. That one fine. Maybe if they want more information, they can fall on the hospital and get other information to assist the patient, to recover or whatever. So actually that's what normally happens. So when it comes to private aspect, that is where we are having much of the challenges, because we have a lot of private institutions that are coming out and which want to make sure that the right thing is being done. That is where the regulations and things comes in. That is where the private laboratory association also come in to make sure that things are being done properly. And that's the stage in which some of us have gotten to now, which I am the chairman of the research committee on that, working on those things.
Thank you.
Okay.
Talking about research committees, because I know Africans, we Africans, especially, we like to brand and give titles and give committee names and regulatory bodies and all those things. Now, you currently have a Minister of Health who oversees all these processes. Are you convinced that he will deliver a good job? considering his background. I mean, he is more or less a businessman rather than any person with any culture or nurturing of health systems at all.
Yes, the political head works with a lot of, technocrats. So I think for him to succeed, the technocrat have to help him succeed. All you have to do is make sure that these are the policies. Are we following the policy laid down of the institution? If indeed the policy are supposed to be implemented by the technocrats, then the head will be able to succeed. For instance, if you put me in charge of where I'm supposed to be and I'm not doing well as a technocrat, then he also fails. But if I do well as a technocrat, then he what? Succeed. You see, the whole thing boils down on what do I want to do to help my country? What do I want to help to do the job in which I've been asked to do? What is the passion? That is it. For instance, you are talking about this research committee, blah, blah, blah. I'm really paused to do mine. I've started some work already. And we are not going to leave any stone unturned to make sure the right thing is being done. Because when we visit your facility, what are the policies that are supposed to be put in place? Have you done it? Are you trying to adhere to the quality management system? If not, first of all, we have to educate you on what to do. We educate you, bring you up, and if you are failing, all we have to do is advise ourselves and use the necessary, sanctions to really, get.
So you think the minister of whatever their background is, that doesn't really count much?
I don't think it really matters, because you see, when you are talking about decision making, you see, there should be an arrowhead.
Yeah.
The technocrat around should be able to make sure that the policy work. You see, even if you are a doctor and maybe you specialize in eye, we didn't know much about laboratory. We didn't know much about nursing. We didn't know much about radiology and the rest. But see, those people that are around you should be able to make you succeed. Because if I made you the head of radiology, it means that you have what it takes to be head of radiology. You know the in and out of radiology. I, the minister, may not know the in and out of radiology.
Who appoints these heads?
You see, the institution itself appoints the head, because the minister cannot come and appoint the head of radiology.
Okay.
Because see, the minister is just like a political head. You are the minister of health. When you go in, the structures are there already.
But these structures are failing. Although you keep saying, I'm sure you've looked at some of the amount they spend on these health facilities or health system in Ghana. Even the national health insurance, I believe, is failed. Compared to the Western world, where they probably use less sum of money to facilitate these sort of things. Yet we Africans are spending over, and we still don't meet the target. So do you think it's quite necessary to for you to put anybody as head? I mean, sure, you could be in charge of maternity ward or from your laboratory sort of background, but I'm talking about having a general aspect of knowledge in the healthcare system for you to head a department.
You see, this one I cannot talk much, because see, this becomes political. You understand? Yes, it becomes political that if you are a minister of health, you should have a health background. I think it is a laudable idea.
Yeah.
It's a laudable idea, but again, too, it also will boil down on the person that is heading the department. What are your arguments when it comes to management? You see, we are talking about management here. We are talking about you be able to really control those people under you to really get the best out of them. Because if you are a good administrator, you get to the ground, you understand the terrain, then you should know how to push your human resource people to get the best.
I understand. The medical territory, as you say, is not a try and error territory. I mean, like you said, when someone dies,
people's life are at risk.
I mean, this is where you want to get. I mean, there were terms you were using, I had no knowledge of it, I didn't even understand what you were saying. But I'm quite concerned that yet we say we have a system that is up and growing, and I believe we should do better. And no matter what your views will be, I believe we should do better.
Let me pick it this way. When you go to maybe Kolebu, Minister of Health, and Kolebu and the Minister of Health, if you get to Kolebu itself, there's what? The Chief Executive. That's responsible for anything that goes on at Kolebu. He's a well-versed, medical director. And he works with the medical directors. Because each department have a medical director. Yeah. Before you get to that top, you should be well-versed in your profession. Let's say medical director, in charge of physicians and what have you. Okay? Is well-versed. So I think if those people will really do their job, because for me, I'm a professional. If you come with a political decision, yes, stay with a political something. But what is my profession? My profession is just to do the right thing. Maybe lack of resources also could hinder my progress a little bit. You understand? That also could contribute to some failures in the system. And again, as you said, there could be some wastage in the system where money are being meant to do a medical work is being spent on workshop. That's also another aspect that can also, siphon our money to do a course of it. You understand?
So talking about lack of resources, is this something that has been put out there? Because I think this is an ongoing issue, and we are hoping that one day we will get there. What are you doing concerning this as professionals? Have you been able to take it up to the Ministry of Health? Is the Minister of Health aware of the situation at the ground level?
Yes, I think they are aware. We've taken most matters up when it comes to resources. You understand? We have really done a whole lot of job. And at times some of these things it goes gradually. You don't just move in. You need to have meetings, to see those people who are really in charge, those people who are concerned before. At times some of the things can even be on the minister's desk for some time. But you also have to get approval from a quarter before things are being released down there. So at times there are challenges in the pipeline where you meet at a particular time in point, then you can know how to handle it. But however, with the little resources that we have, at least we are trying to bring something out of the little resources. Now you talk about the health insurance scheme. Yes, it's not doing badly, because when you compare that of this place to that side, I think you are far ahead of us. We are not doing badly at all, because we are just.
But is the system still effective? Is it working?
Yeah, it's working. It's working to some extent. When I say it's working to my extent, is that everything is not captured under the health insurance scheme.
And was that the actual policy? Was that their focus of, having it to same level and not covering every aspect of your health?
I think it's something that they are working on it gradually. Looking at the resources that we have, because when I remember those times when it was promulgated, the draft list that was covered was smaller. They started expanding. The diseases are supposed to cover was smaller. They are now trying to expand.
So basically, if you come into hospital with a certain disease that is not covered by the insurance,
you have to really take care of it. For instance, when you get to the hospital with a cancer, it is not covered under health insurance. So that one you have to take care of it.
So in a scenario like that, when a patient comes in with, let's say, cancer and they can fund themselves, what then happens?
It means the patient is left to his or her fate. It's really pathetic.
That is pathetic.
The patient is left to his or her fate. Because when it's not covered and it's not having enough money, it means the patient is left.
Do you accept that position?
I don't accept that position. But let me ask, even in the developed world, I think we don't spend much on cancer patients, do we?
We do.
We
do here.
Yes,
they do.
Oh, okay. So maybe we are yet to get there.
But that is what I'm saying. Most doctors don't see the need to tackle these sort of things and probably get away with murder. Talking about that and some of the failures, do you believe that there are still failing systems, and as a result of such failures, causing a lot of death?
The affiliate system, for that one we know some of us failed.
Right.
Which really result to the death of a patient. The affiliate system.
Okay.
At times, some of the affiliate system could be attributed to negligence.
Okay.
Negligence which can result to somebody, dying. Both all the professionals, from the laboratory to the doctor, from the nurse to the radiologist and what have you. Number 2 is the technical know-how also contribute to the system failure. You understand? Because if I don't do a proper diagnosis, I give a wrong diagnosis. I'm transferring
you pass that on to the doctor.
To the doctor, and the doctor will also, really handle this situation, and it could be a failure.
Yeah.
Surgeons are also failing. Everybody can fail in point in time. But see, when these things are happening, we need to sit back and look at it. What is causing the failure? Negligence. Where's the negligence coming from?
Yeah.
Is it due to laziness? Is it due to adoncarism? Is it due to apathy towards work?
So from your perspective, where do you think this is coming from?
It's a whole lot of factors. You see, I have a lot of experiences where a patient goes in for a surgery, and immediately after the surgery, the surgeon says, I'm on leave. I've handed over to somebody, he just push it. What is important to him at that particular moment is his leave. But to make sure the patient go through proper recovery, I'm gone. You understand? That's another negligence. Because
would that not be continuation of care?
Yeah, that could be a continuation, but you see, you are the one that handled the patient.
Because I think the doctors are entitled to their leave.
Yeah, they are entitled to their leave, but if you know you are entitled to your leave, there's certain things you are not supposed to do.
Right.
You see, when you are entitled to your leave and you are performing a case, you need to make sure that you go to
patient is stable.
At least post-ops care is very, very, very important.
But then does it not question the probably the credibility of doctors, because it's from what you're saying, once it will
question the credibility of some of the doctors.
Okay, well, some of the doctors. So you,
and to also question the credibility of some of the institutions, like the hospitals. You understand? What measures have you put in place? What are your policies on after you've operated somebody? What are your policies? Are your policies supposed to make sure that you stay on to make sure that the patient is stable to certain type of level, or when you are doing your referral or you are referring the case to somebody or leaving it for somebody, these and these are things that you are supposed to put in place. You understand? So it depends on you, the doctor that is doing your job. What are your policies? When you finish doing your surgery, what are the laid down procedure? After I finish, I'm supposed to hand over to this person, or what? If those system fails, then it means that the patient is going to suffer a great deal. So at the end of the day, all that we are talking about is a common person patient. It's not me. Because if it is me, then I shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
If it is me, for me to say I'm a doctor, I'm this thing, people should know just in the name of knowing me, then I shouldn't be there. You see, because if you're a professional, I would say you should put your profession to the beck and call.
So the patient becomes then the center.
Exactly.
Okay. Well,
from records, I've never heard the doctor being tried for negligence, as you said. Yes. Negligence. What is the reason for that? Because if you have constant death, like you said, it could attribute or be mating from any other sort of reasons you earlier mentioned. However, when there are constant death of someone went into labor, you have percentages of death arising from maybe people going into labor and they dying, or children dying in this facility. And I'm sure the ministry has committees and board that look into the. But have you ever? I haven't seen one. Have you ever come across such a case where a doctor is being tried? Because that will probably change the sort of ethical
honestly speaking,
aspect of.
I have never seen a doctor being tried for negligence.
And why do you think so? Because you are above the law?
If they are tried, if I will remember something, I think one day I met a doctor and he said the institution had been sued. You understand? But I've not heard of the outcome.
Okay.
At times, also, maybe the doctors are being tried, but it's not brought to the public domain for us to know that this and that is happening. Because, for instance, if I were not to meet this doctor and he told me that the institution has been sent to court, I wouldn't know that they sent institution to court. Some happen to get to the public, like there was a particular case where a doctor was sued. I think this one, they sued the institution. When they sued the institution, all the doctors that were involved were mentioned in the suit. You understand? Afterwards, I think they were doing the investigations, and it happened that my institution was also part of the investigation for this particular individual. This is where the record keeping came in. That was way back about 6 years ago. So we went to our records. The electronica was there. We went to the manual where we did our recording was there. Then we went into the worksheet. The worksheet that they use to associate. So they pick all this into court. But as I'm talking to you now, I don't know the outcome of those, court cases. At times, you see, doctors could be punished, we may not know, or doctors may end up not being punished at all. End up not being punished, and maybe the justice system also could cause a delay for us to hear some of these cases. And I know in Ghana, when something comes up like that, the journalists come, hey, this doctor, after a week or two, everything
dies
just dies off. And at times too, you see, that sympathy also will be there for a doctor to cause negligence. And the family members may not like to drag it because they may be tagged. You understand? Some will say, oh, it doesn't matter. It has happened, that's why it has happened. Like a case I was talking to you about when the patient died. They said, oh, yeah, sorry. We cannot bring back your dead relative, but what we can tell you is that have our condolences. And that ends it there. You see, the way we see doctors in our society is different. Because we see doctors
Are they seen as untouchable?
Yes, they are seen as untouchable. They are seen as our God, where when we see them, we go down for them. Oh, doctor, I've made a mistake. It's not a big deal.
And should that be the case?
That shouldn't be the case. You see, like, I have a particular case where I was pushing, and you see, people come to tell you, oh, when you do that, it will be like as if you are fighting the doctors, what have you, and you see that kind of pressure coming
from all over.
So for you to just, even when you fight it, when you do this thing, will it bring your dead relative back? Are you getting the point?
And that becomes the end of it.
That becomes the end of it.
I think this is something that the health minister should be looking at. There should be proper policies.
Not even the health minister. I think civil society really to come out of it, and the health minister should champion these things. Because see, when we want to avert some of these things, our negligence, there must be a way where people are penalized for their negligence.
Have you worked outside Ghana?
Yes, I've worked outside in the US for 4 years. And where I work, there was strict system put in place. Our code of conduct is being followed up to the letter. And I bet you, every day you need to give your reports. And your reports or your documents must be subject to scrutiny, so that at least they know whatever you've done is right or not. I can give you one instance where there was a particular case that I had a clinical history of the patient. I moved forward and I even did. And you see, the system was said I'm supposed to tell my superior that I'm going further. I thought I was doing the right thing, but I was penalized for that because I didn't seek approval. Though what I did helped, you understand, but I need to seek approval. That is the code of conduct they put in the system where the system was really working. So next time what I did was anytime I see something with that nature, I call for. When I call for, they call the clinician. Clinician, we've reached this point and we are realizing that we are seeing something this way. Do we go ahead? We need that mandate. You understand? And that's what I realized over that the system was really working. And I tell you, believe me, we are always on our toes. We are always careful. Because you know when the sanction comes, they can withdraw your license.
So when you weigh these two, having your experience in the US and then having experience back home in Ghana, do you think that you are on your toes as you would as you used in Ghana?
To be honest with you, is the
because I think it looks like we are more laid back.
Yeah, we are more laid back. Yeah, you see, we are more laid back because of our mentality.
But this is the same person who has functioned very well in the US, and then this same person has moved back home. Does that mean as soon as you get out of the plane, you forgot about all your ethics, you forgot about all the... And I am pretty sure that when it comes to the health sector, we might have, though it's different countries, different continent, we might have similarities in our code of conduct. Code of conduct. So that shouldn't change.
No, it shouldn't change. For me, to be honest, I never changed. You see, what happened to my institution? People say I'm hard. That's the name they tag me. I'm hard. You train. You say, even reporting time becomes an issue. You punish. They say
you're too hard.
Wicked.
You're being too hard on them.
You are not. Use human face. And at times, some of us have not given up on these things. That is why my institutions, we are just on and on and on. If you realize that we are not abiding by it, all we do is discrimination. We terminate our appointment. And that one, we don't, I personally don't joke with it. I make sure that the right thing is being done. And that is why this example that I've, established for my organization, that is why I was made to be the chairman of the research committee. How was I able to build mine? Can I also show them to come up to that level? And I say, yes, we can. You see, the setback is this. If there are legislations to regulate things to be done well, fortunately, we have an act
are there not legislation
to regulate? We have an
regulate?
act that is regulating us now. Now, the act is really coming up and working with some people. But we need to do more. You see, in Ghana, let me say, when something happens, we look at the what do you call it? The paperwork. Oh, go and register, do this thing. The kind of actual work is not being monitored. It's not that the actual work is now being monitored. Because when we come to the laboratory, we need to look at the personnel. You need to look at your SOPs, your quality management system, and what have you, your policies and the rest. If it is not being put in place, we will give you an allowance. Please try to put your
Who gives you the allowance?
The committee will give you the allowance. Please, these are the things that you do. Not even just to give you allowance, we even train you. Okay. There's workshops and things for you to bring you up to speed for what we expected of you. Fortunately, Ghana Standard Board is even heading the accreditation on the ISO for the laboratories, and they are also giving us time and training and things for the private laboratory also to come up to standard. Okay. You understand? So things are being done gradually, but I think within a year or two, things are going to be shaped well, put on the track very well.
Okay, so in terms of you mentioned about you being head of a department and training and stuff. How do you impact the knowledge that you've learned from outside Ghana or outside Africa to the people there? Yeah, and how is that being taken? Because I know, like you said, when you're being strict about punctuality, you were being tagged as being hard. How are you able to change that mentality of them? How are you able to make them understand that if work starts at 8, it starts at 8 and not 9?
It's difficult changing people's mentality. But normally, I made them to understand, hey, time is time. If it's 6, if 7 is 7. We are dealing with life over here. We are to save life. We are not to destroy life. Other than that, they don't have a business over here. With my organizations, we are doing well, but we are extending to other people. Being head of this research committee, there are workshops that we are organizing for people. You see, when we come around, we are going to look at all these things. Now, in Ghana, it's only few organizations that are doing the clocking system. Few, just few. We do the manual. Even when you do the manual, you know what we do? We compromise it. Instead of me coming at 8 o'clock, I just write, hey, look at the person that came before. Say, hey, Charlie, it's 7:15. Oh, I came in at 7:16. Why maybe I got there at 8:30? You see, we are trying to put in a system where we can check all these things. If you have in the clocking system and it is tight proof, there's no problem with it, then we can check in with all these things. Then we move on. You come to your facility. What are your policies when a patient comes in? What are your policies when you're taking blood samples? We just want to get all those things and make sure that things are being done well. I completed my training in 1990, and when we were trained, some of these things we know them off head. We never documented it. We want things to be documented, so that when I'm working and I fall, somebody comes in, he knows
where I got to,
or what I'm supposed to do. You understand? All these things are being taken up gradually, but with time, as I said, we will get there. When we get there, we will make sure that everything is set. Now,
I think we always do console ourselves with, we'll get there. We'll get there.
But
and
I think this
it looks like we never get in there.
We will.
the education system, especially with health education, do you think there is a problem there? Because it looks like at the moment you are tackling issues within the medical sector of the whole fiasco. Do you think it should be tackled at the infancy level rather than where it is at the moment?
Yes, I think we should tackle that from the educational system.
Right.
The institutions.
Okay.
Now the institutions are being accredited now.
Okay.
Formally, we have just 1 or 2 institutions that are training health professionals. The health professional institutions are now becoming bigger, and because of that, they have all been accredited to do the right thing.
Okay.
So all these things are being tackled from there, because from recent listing that I checked, they are now trying to infuse. So when you come out as an intern and we are doing this, we want to see whether the procedure and processes that we do at the lab or the professional area, whether you've been taught and you are exhibiting it. Because even before you do your internship, you needed to be given approval from the agency before you can even come in for your internship. So that at least the correction is done from that point. So when you come in, I don't have to tell you to do this or that. I'm supposed to supervise you, monitor you, to exhibit whatever you learned in school, so that we know that we are getting somewhere. You see, as we are doing this thing, we are going to wipe off all those people that are not really qualified to be there. And if you intend to be there, then there's a top-up courses that we organize for you. Go back into the institution, maybe 6 months top-up for you to
upgrade yourself.
Yes, so that you can come back and do whatever you are supposed to do.
I see.
Okay.
But I think the system you have in Ghana is more of a theoretical aspect than practical.
Before theoretical,
but now
practical. Because some of us are up and doing. I'm telling you honestly, all that I'm telling you, you see, I don't have any paper before me.
Right.
Because I practice it. So I can tell you from my practice that this is what I'm supposed to do and I'm doing. You understand? Before it was theoretical, we were not too keen on some of these things.
And was it due to lack of equipment? That's why it wasn't too practical?
Not equipment, but I think due to the system. You see, we took things for granted from the beginning. Let me put it up. We took things for granted. Oh, I can just do anything. But now that the awareness is coming, now that I think we are trying to get things done well,
are there more check and balances now?
There are more check and balances than before. Before, you can just go and open up some institution somewhere and just put your banner on and start operating and nobody. But now there's an agency that even visits your facility to make sure that you have the right type of equipment and things for you to use. And they've just started. It's an act that was passed in, I think, 2011 or so. And that's about 2011 that is overseeing some of these things.
Herbalists,
yeah,
are they doctors?
Herbalists are not doctors.
Okay. Are they regulated? Because they are in contrast with you doctors.
For me, to the best of my knowledge, yes. But best of my knowledge, I don't think they are being regulated.
But is it not causing a problem? Because
it's really causing a problem.
You have a medicine which is created all by means from good source, but there's no side effect listed, there are no allergy implications on it, there is nothing. Just take 3. I mean, the only thing you say is not to be given to children under 18 and breastfeeding mother.
To the best of my knowledge, they are not regulated. That is what I know.
They are not regulated.
Yes, because you see.
But then you have this minister working so hard to get behind the knowledge of what is causing so much death in hospitals in Ghana. I mean, these herbalists keep these patients for a long time.
What I have to say is this: we have the Center for Scientific and Industrial Research, which is, kind of checking all these things. You understand? In as much as we are talking about herbal treatment, we are also encouraging the systems so people who use the herbal thing, but it should be done in the right manner. There are other people I know that are on board which are doing the wrong thing. Because, for instance, I can say that there are some herbalists that will handle a case when it's at the end stage before they push it to the hospital. That becomes so dangerous. I know there are some herbal treatments that are creating a lot of problems than we think we should. Talk about the kidney problems, talk about the liver failures and the cardiac problems and the rest. But at times we tend not to know the particular type of medications, because at times you see adequate information about those things is not there.
It's minimal. It's not even there.
It's not even there for you to trace and say, look, the patient took in A, B, C, D, E before. People come on air and say, look, I can give you a herbal treatment. If you are suffering from fibroid, you don't need a surgery. You understand? And from my
scientific background,
medical background, I realized that how can you treat somebody fibroid without surgery?
It's like telling a cancer patient,
where I am,
who have a big tumor, that I can cure you, I can make the
diminish or disappear.
Yeah.
Where I am, I'm at the center of a health institution or medical side that when some of these things are happening, I get to know about them. Because some of the cases will just come, go and do this. And when you come in, they write is patients so and so. And you see that it's becoming so clumsy. You understand? They get to a stage where things are so bad before they push it. But I think if there's much more regulation about this thing, it's going to help us. Another aspect I've come there, homeopathic. You go to them, they have this machine, they say hold it.
Just for our viewers, when you say homeopathy, what do you mean?
Homeopathy, it means like it's not medication. It's just like they can charge water for you, put it in the machine, per what they see on their machine. Let's say if I hold the machine will say I have a kidney problem, I have a liver problem. Okay, then they use some to charge the water, kidney problem, liver problem. Please go and take and consume. And when when they tell you have a kidney problem, you have a liver problem, you have all these things, some people who are think true will come to the lab and say, look, I went there, they say I have a kidney problem, I have this thing. Run the test. When you run it, everything is negative. You understand? And that's another challenge. Maybe they may not like the way I'm talking, but I'm talking from that perspective. I used to go to a TV show, and the first show I did a show on what do you call it? This clotting system, like when blood circulations and things and what have you. There's a clot in your system, and I try to do the explanation and the rest. The next time somebody came to my outfit with the problems and things, we wanted to do the right thing, do a referral, blah blah. And say, I thought when I came here, you give me some herbal concoction for me to
get rid of the clots.
Another time is that, and I realized that hey, I'm not into that. I just want to do the right thing. You understand? So you see, some of us take view on certain things that they do in society. I would never go in for a herbal medication that I don't know the efficacy, I don't know the side effects and the rest. But see, people, because they want that treatment at all costs.
Yeah, but we are also, trained to believe that everything that is coming from our natural product are far better, even though it could have severe side effect. Yeah. Is it not about time this research committee you have covers such areas? Because whether you like it or not, they are remote areas that cannot access some of the, your institutions.
Yeah.
It's true. For me, my research is not, I don't have that mandate to go beyond the scope of the laboratory.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm limited.
I understand,
so if
but
what
are
we
there
are
not
doing,
supposed to be other?
There should supposed to be others, but I don't know what they are doing there for now. Because as I say, Center for Scientific and Industrial Research, the HEBA aspect, they are supposed to, spearhead this. I don't know how much work they've done in that area for now. But for what I can say is that there are some of them which are really causing more harm than good.
Okay.
You spoke about the herbalist.
Yeah.
What about pastors? They are in sharp contrast with your professional day. I mean, especially a prophetic aspect of it.
Yes.
And most of them are, I believe, they do things that probably does heal. But what challenges are you facing as doctors?
To be honest with you, I don't begrudge a pastor praying for somebody to get healed. But what we have seen of late is that they keep the patient in there for a long period of time.
In their churches or wherever they are.
In their churches, they have camps and the rest in the name of healing. When they realize it's getting out of hand, then they push it to the hospital and they face the brand and the patient dies there. Some of them, as we say, most of them are doing more harm, serious harm. Because see, when you say you are healing somebody, if somebody suffering from diabetes, you are praying for the person to heal. The question, what is the medical condition of a diabetic patient? The pancreas is getting destroyed.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's not producing insulin to regulate the sugar.
The sugar levels in the body.
System. So you think when you pray for the person, without the person go on medication, you are helping the person. No. You help and advise the person, go on your medication. This question you've asked brought to a point something. We had about 2 patients that are diabetic. And he kept on going to this pastor. He said, don't take anything. The sugar level started going up to about 33, 34. I said, hey, you want to kill yourself? Hey, not that one alone. Even HIV/AIDS patients, they'll come and tell you, oh, I'm seeing this pastor. He says the HIV that I had is spiritual. So he's praying for me for it to go. And because of that, instead of him to go through his medication, you avoid that one and rather go to the pastor. And they keep on coming and you see that there's no improvement. Talk about hepatitis B, talk about hepatitis C, and what have you. It's a whole lot. They are really, really making things a bit difficult. But all I said boiled down on the psyche of the people. What do you believe? See, faith and work, they move together. So faith without work is useless.
It's useless.
Nothing.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Senna. Thank you.
You had it all. Faith without work means nothing. Join us same time next week. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Senna.
Thanks for watching.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.